So before I start this video, I'd like to say that this is probably the most fun video I've ever done. It took me about a week to film, and I was really excited to watch all the movies, and I saw that they were on HBO Max and decided to take advantage of it. I'm sorry if this is a very long video. I'm just really excited to do this franchise review, and since they were on HBO Max, I decided to click it. I'm going to be doing from the Sorcerer's Stone, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 are going to be kind of one review. I'll explain it in the Half-Blood Prince one. But I take my Pottermore test, which house I get sorted into, and yeah, I'm not planning to do the Fantastic Beasts films because they weren't a part of that, and I only want to do the first 8 because I feel like that should be its own thing. And there's not much else to say other than enjoy or don't. This video is probably going to come out on June 20-something or maybe July. I don't know. Well, anyways, here's my review of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So, 2001, the year of the Space Odyssey, and Harry Potter, and depending where you're from, the Sorcerer's Stone was released in theaters. Then there was something else, but I prefer not to get into that. This film was directed by Chris Columbus, and this guy's got to get his priorities straight. One night he's pretending to found a country, and then roughly 509 years later, he's directing a Harry Potter movie. Man, get a life. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, and a bunch of other people. This film, I watched it a long time ago, and then when I rewatched it a couple hours ago, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I forgot how long it is and how much happens inside. I mean, it's one of those things like where you remember what happens, but you just don't remember how. So, this movie, there was so much going on. It's 2 hours and 32 minutes, I believe, and it went by pretty fast. The technical aspects, it's 2001, so it's not going to look the best, but considering it's 2001, The Matrix came out 2 years before that, and I got to the Kung Fu part, and I turned it off because I was really bored. But with Harry Potter, it's just really, it definitely keeps you invested. This feels, probably, it doesn't feel as long as it actually is. Considering the credits, it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It feels just about an hour and 45. It doesn't feel that long, so, yeah, the casting choices were perfect. Daniel Radcliffe was, of course, Daniel Radcliffe acting in a movie. He was, what, 11? His acting was okay. It was, considering a child actor, is pretty good. Emma Watson, of course, was great. Rupert Grint was hilarious. This movie's actually a lot funnier than I remember. It keeps you, it really helps that it's entertaining, magic, and it's very suspenseful. Even though you know what's going to happen, you want to see. It's like World War II movies. You know how it's going to end, but you still want to see the journey they go on, you know? The score, okay, so, Chris Columbus directed the first 2 Home Alones, and this movie had roughly the same score, but it also kind of felt the same. Most of this felt like a Christmas movie. It was so whimsical and stuff that you, like, if I didn't know any better just by hearing the score, I'd be like, oh. So we're watching Home Alone? No. Yeah, it's really fun. It's very whimsical, too. I love Snape. We have the same birthday. And, he's played by the late Alan Rickman, and he does an incredible job as creating this kind of villainous thing. Yeah, they set him up to be the villain, but, of course, if you're watching this, you probably already know. It's Quarrel, I believe. It's okay, plot twist. I mean, it was, in the book, I feel like it kind of went by way too fast. The ending, I feel like, could have gone on for another couple minutes because it's setting it up, but they give away the plot twist way too late. But you know, it's Harry Potter. And no, I don't like J.K. Rowling, but it's just based off her books. And yeah, I don't know. This movie, I really don't know what much else to say that hasn't already been said. The CGI, I can get past the CGI because it's 2001. But it looked really good. It just felt so magical. It gave you the sense of wonder. I hate using that term, but there's just so much going on. The Quidditch stuff is actually much more entertaining than I remember. It has really good pacing. It can keep you going. And it's very memorable because even though I haven't seen it a couple years before I rewatched it, I still remember everything that happened. Roughly everything that happened. I don't know it word for word. But, yeah, the screenplay is great. I just feel like the same thing that since I'm reading Misery right now, I kind of have the same problem where they kind of respect the characters too much, where no kid is using this fancy terminology, like, he's, especially Harry, because he's living with the Dursleys, and which they show to be like not respectful or respectable people, you know? And I feel like this movie is just like, I really don't know how to go along with it. Like, I really don't know what else to say. Yeah. If you don't know my rating system, I'll say it, get it out of the way here. I changed it a little bit since a couple times ago. A golden ticket is an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10, and a trophy is a 9.5 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. So, I give Harry Potter, and once again, depending where you're from, the Sorcerer's Stone, a solid 8.5 out of 10. So, Harry Potter, you get a golden ticket, you're going to Hollywood. This is a great film. Everything is just so whimsical and magical. I watched I watched all of these while they were on HBO Max because they had their like all 8 movies on there, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this because I really think these movies are very bingeable. Like, yeah. Now where is my thing? I'll be right back. Found it. Yeah. I haven't read the book in a long time. Probably gonna reread. I have the first 3 books. They're up there, which I'll show off in the Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. So yeah, after I finish this, I'll probably read all the books. So yeah. So now to the Chamber of Secrets. It's almost as long as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is roughly 2 hours and 46 minutes. So yeah. I love it. Chamber of Secrets it is. Swish and flick. So Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets came out a year later, and it's still directed by Chris Columbus. And it kind of confuses me, not plot-wise or anything like that, but the way I feel about it, because I'm just going to get my rating out of the way right here. I give Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets a 7.5 out of 10. And something that I think kind of is like, you know, it confuses me because no, Cruella is not a better movie than this, but this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, about 2.5 hours without credits. And I feel like Cruella's only 2 hours and 15 minutes. But see, the thing with this movie is that it's a lot messier than it's a lot messier than the Sorcerer's Stone, because it gets like, as soon as you get to that diary scene, you really start to feel the runtime. It's about now, as soon as like an hour and 35 minutes in, that's when it starts slowing down. And the finale is kind of a little bit hokey. But, I hate using that word, but then, see, the thing is, Cruella, I feel like, just went by a lot faster, and then the plot twist was stupid, and a lot of it kind of just didn't look right. I feel like that in that movie, its highs were really high, and its lows weren't really low. They were just below moderate. But this movie, it's exceptional. That's why it's a 7.5 rather than like a 4 or something. But I feel like the thing is, this movie kind of goes a little too Home Alone over the top, in that they kind of use magic as a tool to pump the story and as like a ooh thing, like an ooh-ah thing, but rather than it's like a MacGuffin. It helps move the story along and is like adding factors to the intensity instead of it just letting it smoothly play out. And yeah, I feel like it does that weird 2000s action movie thing where they get it from a different angle in the slow-mo when they're flying. And that's when it kind of gets annoying. But all the performances are still great. I still think it's funny that I don't know if I mentioned this last time because I'm filming these like right after watching movies. But the guy who plays Hagrid also plays Gooby. If you haven't heard of or seen Gooby, there's a great Drew Gooden video. I love Hagrid. He's probably my favorite character out of all of this, but like out of all of them so far at least. But he goes out, like he leaves around an hour and 40 minutes and he comes back, but then they clap for him when he comes back. It's like, yay, you got out of prison. Okay. It's like, it's still, these movies have very satisfying, like, after final battle endings, but, yeah, Dobby, I love Dobby. He's so adorable. In the beginning, he kind of sucks. He's kind of annoying. But the ending, it's like, since he's not in it for so much, you grow to love him. But Moaning Myrtle, oh my god, she is the most annoying thing. So, she's in it for a lot of the time, and it's the same thing with Draco. I'm not the biggest fan of early Draco because I feel like he's in that stage where it's kind of like A Wrinkle in Time where he's young, so when he does like James Bond villain monologues, it doesn't work because he still has that high pitch-ish voice, I guess. And I feel like that kind of just it kind of takes away the intensity of it, but then you see them do magic, so that raises the stakes. But this movie doesn't take magic seriously, where I feel like, from what I remember from the later films, they kind of use it more as a defense, offense, defense, rather than this is a threat, this is a fun action scene. And that's why I feel like Chris Columbus, he was good for the first one because you were watching kids do magic. And that one, even though it was a little hokey, it was still fun. This movie, since it has a much darker tone, for the most part, it feels just like, it doesn't mix together. They stray kind of like, I don't know if it was like this in the book. I have the book, so I haven't read it, but I think after these I'm going to read all the books. And, yeah, I still, like, Lucius sucks, but, like, they're all greatly written. The new wizard guy, I thought he was played by Gordon Ramsay, because the first time I watched this movie I was, like, 5 during one of the marathons. But I always remember this being my favorite before I binged most of them. I got to, like, the 6th one. But because this is going to be my second time, but I'm going to get all the way through. But I feel like first of all, this movie is way kind of too long. They could have chopped it off. But the serpent at the ending, that's the part I remember most about this movie. The serpent and the Tom Riddle. The stuff that drags it is the thing that I remembered most. But, like, the beginning, it's just, they spend way too much time with the Dursleys again. And even though it's 15 minutes, it feels like a little long time. But I heard, my personal favorite when I binged them was the Goblet of Fire. And I feel like, because it was like dragons stuff, but the Prisoner of Azkaban, I'm super happy. All of these are on HBO Max, I can go like that. But yeah, I'm super excited to watch that one. Once again, this one's a 7.5 out of 10. I'll put a title card here this time. But yeah, on to the Prisoner of Azkaban. I just tried reading the book, okay. Harry Potter! Harry Potter! And The Prisoner of Azkaban came out in 2004. There was a year break in between. It is the first film not directed by Chris Columbus. This is the first film ever that was not directed by Chris Columbus. Citizen Kane was directed by Chris Columbus. This one has been, like, rumored to be, like, the best one, and I mean, it's the highest scored one so far. I'll get to that later, but this movie likes to mess around with the cinematography and camera, and they got a different cinematographer, I believe, and it really sets in this movie, I feel like, sets the tone for the majority of the series, because we are almost halfway through, yay, and it just, the hippogriff and stuff is cool. The time traveling, I forgot how fun that was, because but what I don't understand is how they don't realize that they did that, but it just, I don't know. It's one of those. They also relocated Hagrid's house. There's like a whole new section that leads to Hogsmeade, and I think this is where they get comfortable with how Hogwarts is going to look and how the movies are going to feel. And the performances are great. Emma Watson. Hagrid, he's done a great job. They got a new Dumbledore, I believe, because the other one, I believe, passed away. And you can't really tell other than the fact that he has a little bit too much energy, but whatever. The way that they use owls in this one... What? The way that they use magic in this one is kind of like... It definitely makes it, like, much better than Chamber of Secrets. It makes a little more sense, but it's not using it for fun, action, falling off buildings, whoa stuff. Rather, it's using it as something to help the characters. And I feel like that this one just did a really good job at establishing the tone, and I think that this is definitely the best one so far, because yeah, Draco is still kind of weird and annoying, but what I understand is that, yeah, Draco sucks, but what about the other Slytherins? What did they do? They're losing points for something they didn't do. So, yeah, but this one I didn't really have much to say. Probably the best one, so go watch it. The music is still the same, and it's much sadder, but it has it's hard to say. I guess it's a little awkward, but like because it introduces the Marauders map and stuff, and it kind of takes away the whimsical aspect and makes it a lot darker, which I feel like kind of like kills the tone. But yeah, I give Prisoner of Azkaban a solid 9 out of 10. Golden ticket. Congratulations, Prisoner of Azkaban. You are going to Hollywood. Now on to one that I think was my favorite. The Goblet of Fire. Potter and the Goblet of Fire is the first PG-13 film in the series and is the center point of where I am right now. I have 4 more movies left after this. I love this one. One of the main reasons is a Harry Potter, or just a movie in general with Emma Watson and Robert Pattinson. What? Yes, 2 beautiful people in one beautiful movie. Yeah, this movie is probably my favorite so far. Prisoner of Azkaban is the best, but this one is my favorite. I feel like this one definitely has has the pacing of Prisoner of Azkaban, but it's a little better, you know? I feel like some of the games were weird. Baby Voldemort was adorable. The music was good. I really don't have much to say. It's just, Cedric, the guy's not dead. It was super fun watching Robert Pattinson go nuts in a Harry Potter movie and then in The Lighthouse. Because in the maze, the maze scene was intense, kind of. But the only thing is that, though I like this because the stakes are much higher, but you know Harry's gonna win because there's a whole half of the series left. And in the books, I don't think it's not as much as movies that is already an established series, you know? Yeah. I honestly think that this one is, it's like they experiment with more of the fantastical, action-packed aspects rather than like a smoother, quieter, like Prisoner of Azkaban was extremely quiet compared to this movie. This movie doesn't, like, they don't mess around with the cinematography that much, but, yeah. Draco was, like, not even in it at all. He was in it for, like, not even 15 minutes, probably not even 5, but he had a couple of lines here and there, but yeah. I give Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire an 8.5 out of 10. A golden ticket, congratulations, y'all are going to Hollywood. It's intermission time. We're not watching Order of the Phoenix just yet. Right now, at least, we're going to be taking the Discover Your House quiz. I haven't taken this in, like, a year or so. Let's get into this. Discover your house. Okay. Forest. 4 boxes are placed before you. Which would you like to try and open? The first one seems like the coolest. Which would you rather be? Liked? Liked? Who doesn't want to be liked? Choose a category. Cats, toads, cats. I like this one. I like the tabby cat. After you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? It's what they think of me while I'm alive. That counts. I guess this last one. One of your housemates has cheated in a Hogwarts exam by using a self-spelling quill. I don't know. Who's Professor Oh. Okay. He's scary. Which of the following would you most likely study? Merpeople, centaurs, werewolves, vampires. You know what? I don't even think I should answer that one because technically I'm already doing my own. Goblins, trolls, ghosts, werewolves because they're interesting. Heads or tails? Okay. Sorting Hat is ready to make its decision. I'm a Hufflepuff. Dedication, patience, and loyalty. You probably know that some Hufflepuff's most renowned members include Nymphadora Tonks and Cedric Diggory. But did you know that Hufflepuff's house ghost, the Fat Friar, still resents the fact that he was never made a cardinal or that Hufflepuff has produced the fewest dark wizards of any house at Hogwarts. I'm a Hufflepuff, yeah! Wait a second, I actually have something, I'll be right back. Let's see what the real hat has to say, okay?
There's nothing hidden in your head the sorting hat can't see. So try me on and I will tell you where you ought to be. Ravenclaw! Gryffindor! Slytherin! Hufflepuff!
Alright, let's... just little...
Just and loyal. True. Yes, clearly. Hufflepuff.
Yeah! They say the same. Ooh, that looked nice. Hello, I finished the Order of the Phoenix, and wowza, I remembered to bring my wand. I got Voldemort's wand from Universal, and I love it a lot. I got it a couple years ago, and this movie made me realize, oh my god, I gotta read the books. Yeah, so, let's go. The cinematography on this one, I feel like this is where they say, you know what, this is gonna be the dark one, as in, to make it we are going to... The main plot is honestly probably the best plot so far. Yeah, it's a very interesting plot, and especially following the Goblet of Fire, and it's showing how it affected everyone. I thought that was very interesting. How this film deals with betrayal from each character, which I thought was... really well done too. Yeah, Voldemort's back, and he's in it for like one duel, but I'm not the biggest fan of Joe. Later, Jaden here, my light went out, and so I just want to say a couple of things because I left some things out of my original review. So we have the first glimpse of Snape's somewhat backstory, and it's really sad. It's kind of like... It has that weird slow motion thing, and this is also for a bunch of, like, in Sorcerer's Stone, there's a lot of slow motion flashbacks, but there's a lot of things I didn't mention. The Prisoner of Azkaban, there's this one transition where it's, like, looks like all one take, but, like, the camera's pointing at the students, and then it turns to the mirror, and then it goes into the mirror, and then it looks like, and then it's going back into looking at the students. Then there's some other stuff, the Goblet of Fire, the battles were cool. Cedric's death was, like, really sad. This one, like, weighs more down, so yeah. The Order of Phoenix, I'm not sure, though. It's a very polarizing film for me, because it just, I don't know if it's my least favorite, or my first or second favorite. It's very difficult to tell. And I like my shadow. It looks like I'm a conductor. Yeah. Voldemort isn't intimidating to me at all. For some reason. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably talk about more little aspects at the end when I do a whole thing review, like final thoughts on the whole thing. And yeah. Back to Late Night Jaden signing out. Back to the other one. Because then a romance gets set up, and then she, like, completely exposes the army, the thing that's going against Voldemort. This movie kind of makes me angry, but in the right way. Dolores Umbridge, I think that was her name. She is such well written and well acted that I just want to... Avada Kedavra! No. Oh my god. Yeah, the performances are great. Emma Watson. Sirius Black, he's becoming one of my favorites. And it's super funny how this has been said to death, but the longest book is only like 5 minutes over 2 hours. In the long span of things, but I mean, also I looked at the run times, and Deathly Hallows Part 2 is only 2 hours and 10 minutes, which I thought was weird. Usually, like, I feel, see, what I'm going to do with the Deathly Hallows is that I'm going to watch them all, like, as one thing, instead of doing part 1 and 2, because I feel like that's, like, if a movie can't fit, if a part 1 and a part 2 can't fit all together as one cohesive story, then it shouldn't be split into 2 parts. It should have been one, it should have not even been called the first one, whatever. But back to this movie, this is something that has kind of bothered me, is that Dumbledore has way too much energy from, this also, as soon as Prisoner of Azkaban, because they replaced Dumbledore, and I feel like it's really hard to explain. This is probably, I'm not sure if I like this more than Goblet of Fire, but I feel like this is definitely, it's not better than Prisoner of Azkaban. It's probably, like, right under Goblet of Fire. I don't know. But, yeah, I really don't know. That's a crow. I really don't know what to say. This movie is really well done. I felt like this is, like, the second half, it's more establishing of how it's going to go from now on. And because I haven't seen Deathly Hallows Part 2 and most of Part 1, so I don't even think I've seen Half-Blood Prince. I'm not even sure. I mean, that's the only Harry Potter movie that I actually have. It's right here, but I'm not even sure if I've seen it before. So yeah, this movie, the music, I feel like Goblet of Fire had the best title card score, but I don't know. This one, it's Order of the Phoenix. I felt like it should have been called that. Or it could have been something like Harry Potter and the Return of Voldemort, or Harry Potter and Dumbledore's Army. No, I don't know. Anyways, I give Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix this is initial viewing, an 8.5 out of 10. To make it green. That's a nice one. Wherever it is, it gets a golden ticket. Yeah, I don't know where my golden ticket went, but yeah, this one was really good. I felt like this was definitely the more isolated one, but I felt like it had to rely on past events in setting up what's going to happen next, instead of being its own standalone film like Prisoner of Azkaban, but whatever. Wingardium Leviosa. Ooh, 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 whoa. Oh no, you didn't see my hand. Whoa. That did not work as intended. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince came out in 2009 and it's still directed by David Yates. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's definitely one of the slowest. It's definitely slower than Chamber of Secrets. It's probably my least favorite out of all of them, but I think it's more of an exposition explaining the weird stuff film. And it definitely adds more. It's the most emotional and sad one so far. So far, I haven't watched Deathly Hallows yet. This one, Daniel Radcliffe says it's his least favorite because of his, he said it was his boring performance, which I didn't think it was that bad of a performance. I mean, it was just the same performance as usual, but I felt like this one could have been a little bit more powerful, but yeah, I get what he was saying. It was mainly he and Dumbledore movie with Draco having a role this time. Instead of just being a little witty antagonist, he's actually a part of the whole group of antagonists of the Death Eaters. And that's not even true. He just sits by covered all day and sends stuff to a snake. The thing is, it's a good movie. None of these movies are truly bad. This movie, dragged on in specific parts, but I love Slugworth. That's not his name. The guy who worked with Tom Riddle. I forgot his name, but I really like that guy. The romance between Harry and Ginny was kind of forced, and Michael Gambon is probably his best role, like probably his best performance as Dumbledore so far. But there are a lot of weird cuts and different editing decisions, which I kind of thought were buggy. Ron's new girlfriend before Hermione, I think her name was Lavender, was so annoying. I hate Bellatrix, not because she's a menace or anything, it's just because she's also annoying. Don't have your antagonist be annoying, though. That's not something that I like. I don't know. The movies aren't only made for me, but for the sixth one, I feel like this is, I think this thing is Dawn Before the Storm. It's definitely finally establishing the final tone that the last two are. And it's more of a precursor rather than, oh, that looked cool. Let's try that again. A precursor. The Deathly Hallows, which yeah, I'm more excited for than watching this, but I mean, this one, you didn't really get to know anyone better except for Tom Riddle. They explained what a Horcrux was, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I give Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince a 8 out of 10, which is a golden ticket. And now, for my final thing, I'm going to not even try to do it into 2 parts, because if something is part 1, and something is part 1, and it's like in a franchise and it's like part 2, it should be able to be watchable as one singular film. Okay? So yeah, I'm not looking forward for it to be over if you couldn't tell. So yeah. Here it is, my review of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. Okay, so Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. I'm doing this as a dual review because it's technically just one long thing. The first part came out in 2010 and the second in 2011, and I really consider it more of a 2-act story that is like the one that the break in between was a little intermission, which I think exactly what it was. It is definitely a really satisfying way to end this whole thing, but I kind of agree with part 1 being the setup, like the second Dawn Before the Storm, and then the second part being the end game type thing. And I felt like the second part was a little short. It was only 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is roughly about an hour and 58 minutes. Because there's always 10 minutes of credits. But split, it's about 4.5 hours long in total. And yeah, this film does a really good, they do a really good job at saying this is a finale. Be happy with what you get. No. I feel like this is a great place to end it. They shouldn't have tried to bank off the cursed child, because I don't... But as a finale, as a final part of a story, it is exceptional. The first, like, it definitely... What I don't like about it is that Bellatrix is annoying and that her death wasn't that great. But Nagini... Neville's hot now. No. He killed Nagini to save Ron and Hermione, who are now a couple, which it's kind of annoying in the Half-Blood Prince, but then it kind of smoothens out here. And it just, there's a lot of stuff to go into, and the cinematography is really nice, but it is like a dark movie. Not like tone-wise. Literally a dark movie. It takes place at night and you cannot see a lot. There's a lot of green and stuff, but yeah. This came out at the time where trailers were like a little buggy and a little too over dramatic, but still didn't show a lot of stuff. It definitely sets high expectation, and I feel like this is definitely a theater film because I think it's a theater film or something you watch at night because there's a lot of dark stuff. But the final two parts being the most intense parts of the series. Voldemort isn't intimidating to me at all. But this movie is very suspenseful. Snape's memories and stuff. Oh my god. Dobby's death. And it kind of felt like it all went full circle. I definitely enjoyed this more than Endgame because Endgame just dragged on for way too long. And yeah, I want to do a MCU video, but the music in this one was very quiet. It definitely was it was definitely kind of drier compared to all the other movies, but I was expecting Luna Lovegood to have a much bigger part than advertised because, like, you would think that she's one of the main characters, but in the films she's not. The Harry and Ginny relationship was kind of forced and didn't mold together well. And it definitely is the second part is the best. It's definitely the best film out of all the films. The first part is there's not really much to say. If you still have a chance to watch it on HBO Max or have it at home, or just have never seen it before, watch it again or watch it, because the second part is amazing. The first part I give a solid 8 out of 10. It could have done better. It was more of a travel story rather than a final battle. It definitely felt like a first part. I was expecting like a lot more out of the first part, but you know, an 8 out of 10, a golden ticket. And I give the second part a solid 9.5 out of 10. It was a little too short, and I felt like they could have done more, but maybe that was a thing in the books where they didn't do a lot. That's a trophy. Congratulations, the only Harry Potter film to get a trophy. So after 5 minutes of calculating and finding the average of something, also known as looking it up on Google, this whole franchise came out to a rounded average of 8.5 out of 10. My god, was this probably one of the funnest videos I've done. There's not really much to say other than the performances were really great. The music, this is probably going to be my favorite video I do for a long time. It's been really fun to watch the movies. I've never actually sat down and watched every single one before. And yeah, this franchise, it was really fun to like go through and experience these people's lives with them. Professor McGonagall was great. Dumbledore's arc, Snape's arc. Oh my god, I love Snape. I'm not sure who my favorite character is. I know that Deathly Hallows Part 2 is my favorite one. But, yeah, this was, oh my god, I can't express how much fun it was and how grateful I am for you guys watching all the way through. And HBO Max putting all of them on there. They can kind of suck sometimes, but Yeah, they're getting somewhere. I hope they keep them on there and take them away from Peacock. Or the Order of the Phoenix had a weird thing, and I'll insert the thing right here.
And you'll never know love.
Yeah, the final franchise, once again, 8.5 out of 10. Golden Ticket franchise. This is going to be my first franchise review and one of many. Some of the ones I want to do next, like the Conjuring universe, before that gets taken off HBO Max. The MCU, some book ones, and let's see, the Star Wars ones, I'm probably going to do that for May the 4th next year. And some horror franchises like the Friday the 13th. But yes, this is probably a really good experiment, probably a really long video, and maybe you guys liked it, maybe you didn't. And, well, if you're watching this, thank you for sticking around and watching it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Now it's time to start reading The Sorcerer's Stone. Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Pivot Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much.